Okay, this is a view of the jack point. It's way back in there. It's tough to get under there with a floor jack, so I use the scissors jack. Get it up off the ground. We'll put some jack stands on there. Okay, here's the final safe jacked up solution with jack stands and where they fit on the frame. Okay, we're ready to get at this thing. Okay, I've been getting a great deal of vibration and pulsing on this 2005 Scion. One thing I like to check before I do a job on this on a car like this is to make sure that the calipers aren't sticking to start with. So make sure you can turn both wheels freely. And what I also did then is I applied the brakes and then checked again to make sure they aren't sticking, because I've had a problem with this car on the back of the caliper that's sticking. So that being done, we'll go ahead and take off the wheels and get started. 21 millimeter. So on this front caliper, to get the caliper off, there's two 14 millimeter bolts here. They're actually on the caliper pins. So bust those loose. There's one. No, 14 millimeters. Looks like the whole pin's turning on this one. So we know the pin's loose. I don't know why it's actually turning. At this point, set the caliper up out of the way. If you're worried about it, wire it. It's a good time to check the pins. The pins should move in and out freely. They can seize up on these cars, and it's not a bad idea to put some new some caliper grease in there again, as long as you get this apart doing this job. Okay, now working from behind, we have to take off the shoe holder, the pad holder I should say. These are 17s here. Looks like somebody over torqued that. Which is kind of weird because I'm the one who did the job last. So we go to a breaker. There it goes. Good angle on this. There. Have to break it loose. Okay, obviously now I can go to a ratchet and get this off of there. Wow, just to make things interesting, this bottom one is really on there. Definitely going to have to put a little bit of small amount of lubricant on that on the way back in. Okay, and at that, off comes the pad holder. Okay, we wouldn't want this job to get boring or too easy, so of course the rotor is stuck fast. But what Toyota or somebody has done, if these are aftermarket, is put in some takeout holes. So I found the right metric. I think it's an M8. The right metric bolt to put in there. And we're going to alternate back and forth and break this thing loose.
Where's Crystal?
Hmm?
Where's Crystal? Crystal. Good God. Crystal!
Okay, those takeouts work pretty good. So off comes our rusted on rotor. I'm just going to brush this off a little bit, get some of this rust off of here. So here's our replacement parts. Got some pads. These are ceramic. I paid about $28 for a set of those. And the rotors. These don't come with the takeout holes. About $30 a piece. You're gonna have to clean these up. Some lacquer thinner on them. On account of they have some protective oil on them. And they'll trip across the ocean. Okay, so I've cleaned this up with lacquer thinner. Get all the shipping oil off. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of WD-40 on the inside surface so that perhaps someday somebody wants to get these back off again, they'll come off. Okay, so on with the replacement rotor. Back in place. Okay, so now we can just take the old shoes out. Now this isn't a bad time either to put in some anti-squeal material in here. There's one side. Now where you want to put the squeals on the back plates here, where it comes in contact with the pistons. This is a disc brake quiet lubricant that you want to put on there. So you just want to apply this liberally to the backing plate of both the inboard and outboard brake pad. This will keep them quiet. Now you can see the way I've got it on there. So you can just let that dry on there a little bit, and then we'll reassemble. And then just repeat that on the other one, of course. Okay, so now with our pad holder bracket, we can put that back in place. Remember that was the 17 millimeters. Cleaned up the threads on these. The threads were kind of... they protested too much as I was putting them back in. So I cleaned them up and added just a touch, just a small dab of lubricant to them. Okay, so these get torqued to right around 40 foot-pounds. But I will torque these. I'll get my torque wrench. Get about 40. Brakes are one of the items I usually want to torque to specs. Brakes are a safety item. Don't want something falling apart on us here. So 38 to 40. Okay, now that we're ready to put the caliper back into place, what you are going to undoubtedly find is that the piston needs to be retracted. This piston has come out, you know, during the course of wear on this on the brakes. So what you need here is a clamp, fairly large C-clamp, and a washer, so that you can put even pressure on the piston. Now, also, if you want to check this, if you have to retract it even more than this isn't much here, but if your piston is, the brakes are even more worn, then you might want to check the reservoir. Make sure you don't as the brake fluid comes back, it doesn't make a mess, come out. And just bringing it in, just got to bring it in enough to where I can slip it over these brake pads. I just bring it back to where it's pretty well flush. And it stays there. I also want, I should mention, clean these surfaces up. The contact surfaces with the inboard and outboard shoes. Clean them up, put a little lacquer thinner or something on them. Okay. Alright, we're in there. So all that really remains now is to bolt on the calipers. Remember, that was 14 millimeter. Okay, so you want to torque these down to about 30. Okay, like I said, I want to torque it to about 30. Okay, got that one. And there that one is. Okay, so the brake portions of this are pretty well done. We'll put the wheel back on, torque to 100. I put these on here because it's easier to, it's helpful to have that rotor in place as you do this job. So put the wheel back on, torque to 100, repeat on the other side, and we'll be all done. Okay, thanks for watching this video.